Right, so in my last video, just get this adjusted a little bit. Yeah, in my last video, last few videos, I mentioned about Israel Adesanya and his gyno from UFC 253, where he fought Paulo Costa, and so far, the last few videos I posted and talks about that the feedback that I've been getting. A lot of people actually agree that and agree with my suspicions and speculations that yeah, steroids was used, and I've had many people just more or less say he, just black and white say he cheated in that fight. But for Israel and Adesanya, this ties to Jon Jones, and at the press conference for UFC Fight Island 6, excuse me, um, Dana White gave his take on the issue that happened back in, was it 2016 or 15? This was brought by Charles Sonnen, and even though it did happen a long time ago, when I was listening to the podcast he was having with Joe Rogan, it really did make my mouth drop. That I do know that in the mixed martial arts community, people do lots of crazy things. Um, so Dana White said that the athletics commission. God, I keep forgetting the whole name of the acronym they use, but the Athletics Commission at the time, this is pre-USADA, before USADA came into existence in the US, they Dana White confirmed at the press conference that the Athletics Commission at the time don't even test for marijuana. So, like DC said in the podcast with Ariel Helwani a few days ago, it's strange why Jon Jones behaved the way he did that afternoon, or should I say that morning, whereby the Athletics Commission sent some of their representatives over to that gym to check if to just do a random drugs test. Excuse me. Yeah, but better. So yeah, I mean, there could be more to as to why Jon Jones hid beneath that cage. But I just want to give a brief my opinion on the whole thing, that possibly there was more to the story than what Jon Jones was letting on, when he more or less indirectly, the truth was coaxed out of him, if that is the truth, by Israel Adesanya, just how they're having a tit for tat back and forth on Twitter, that yeah, he did hide beneath the cage because he wanted to avoid the drugs test, and he says he wants to avoid the drugs test, because he had just smoked some weed and he didn't want to get caught out, didn't want to fail the drugs test, and he was saying that if he did fail the test, he would be banned from fighting for a long time. That's what happened to one of the Diaz brothers. But Dana White confirmed that the commission, they don't test for marijuana anyway, and they would have only really tested him, if it was within the fight window, at the time they're getting prepared for a fight and then fighting, or whatnot, within that time frame. So more than likely there could be more to that story, as there could be more to the story, more than what is being let on by Jon Jones, even though he's kind of, let's say, partially admitted to doing something very, very awkward. Because when I know this happened quite a while ago, but I have to admit, when I heard about it, I've heard a lot of things that happen in mixed martial arts that are really, really off the rails, really crazy. But this one really, really made my jaw drop, because it sounded quite childish. The sort of thing that I remember seeing and hearing about back in my primary school days, but not now. We have grown adults. Well, grown adults who don't always act maturely. But I mean, in this case, I'm just surprised that he did. I mean, he's notorious for getting into lots of trouble. But besides, on top of that, he's a really good fighter. And DC even said it in the first place. Said it in the podcast he had with Ariel Helwani, that he's a really good fighter. Why would he need to take any substances, any banned substances, to help him fight well when he's competing, and to improve his performance when he's competing in the octagon against his opponent? He's a really good fighter. He doesn't need anything else. So chances are maybe he was taking something, a banned substance, because Dana White confirmed that the commission at that time before USADA, but the guys, the organization, don't even test for weed. So more than likely, maybe he could have been taking a substance that actually banned, and was just trying to avoid it, because he stayed beneath the cage more or less for the rest of the day, the entire day. Charles Sonnen confirmed it in the podcast that when the guys from the state commission came to perform the test and they didn't see him there, they actually hung around for the rest of the day, for the remaining 6 to 8 hours of the day, and Jon Jones actually stayed beneath the cage until they left. But unfortunately, later on they did find out about it, and him and all the other guys that had covered his back were penalised for it. So I just want to give my brief opinion on that, and maybe something else could come out, maybe not. It happened a long while ago, and it's something that really, yeah, I can understand that it should be forgotten, but for me, it's just it was kind of mad when I heard about the whole thing. So yeah, now UFC Fight Island 6, as I've even just hinted at in the when I was talking about Dana White giving his 2 cents and his take on the whole situation at the UFC Fight Island 6 conference. I'm going to talk about that because I saw the fight between Brian Ortega and the Korean Zombie. It was a good fight, good match, and from what I gather, it's something I should know. It's actually one of Brian Ortega's fights after he's had quite a significant hiatus from mixed martial arts, from competing. So it's good to see him make an awesome comeback into the sport. So I'll be making a brief video about that in my next YouTube video, so please stay tuned for that. And guys, if you did like this video, please do leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my content. You can catch me on Instagram. My name on Instagram is IkoJarko1, and on Facebook and Twitter my name is IkoJarko. Thanks.